Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: 6 NNPCL officials aboard chopper that crashed into the ocean. They said 3 bodies recovered. NAAPE mourns pilots. President orders military to join rescue team. Get me bandits boss Turuji, Defense Minister orders troops. Governors ranching best bets to end header farmer crisis. Enugu okays 80,000 naira minimum wage. VP Shettima Samoa, CHOGM trip aborted. That 7 Lagos LCDAs stay. Government cost saving plan limits minister convoy and security. Humphrey Nwosu, who conducted Abiola versus Tofa 1993 election, dies at 83. What stories do we have in The Nation?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed the military and other relevant agencies to add PEP. I'm trying to get what PEP means. Maybe energy, to add zest to the rescue operations of the helicopter crash site in Rivers State. This helicopter is supposedly an NNPCL chartered helicopter marked 5NBQG and operated by the East Wind Aviation Logistics Services Limited. It was conveying staff or senior officials of the NNPCL, and it crashed into the Atlantic Ocean yesterday morning. 3 people are confirmed dead. Wow. Still rescue efforts ongoing to rescue more people, and the crash due to the heavy rainfall, the weather. Of course, a lot of people are talking. This helicopter was en route Port Harcourt to Bonny. So if you know this oil business well, it's a norm. From helicopter, they take from Port Harcourt. Usually, the helicopters take them to Bonny, or they have to do the boat to Bonny Island. And this was just a short kilometer flight. It's 1 kilometer, not reach around. And they said there were 8 people on board. 6 of them are top officials of the NNPCL. It's confirmed that the pilot is dead. Flight assistant and two flight assistants and the pilot, just to make them complete. The National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers confirmed the death of the captain, the pilot captain, Yakubu Dukas, and they said this person has over 20 years experience, knowledge of the aviation business. So this is just so
that's painful.
Every of the stories talking about him, you know, the bad weather is still stalling the effort to rescue more people. And you know how murky that water can be. I'm really hopeful that they find them alive. I'm praying.
One too many. Another story?
Yeah, so good news for the people of Enugu State. The governor has finally approved them to have 80,000 naira minimum wage.
Okay.
Yes, for this covers the state employees, primary school teachers, and local government workers.
Amazing.
Yes, the governor said that the gesture was a direct link between a motivated workforce and his administration's vision of growing the state's economy from $4.4 billion to $30 million. As you can recall, a few weeks ago, he had inaugurated a committee to oversee the responsibility of implementing the new national minimum wage. So people are really excited and happy about it. So at least by the end of this month, hopefully.
They're starting very soon?
Yeah, they're starting, they're starting immediately.
That's interesting.
They are going to, because he said that they are deeply committed to making the citizens, the people of Enugu State happy. Wow. So that when they are happy, they can, put in more effort.
Be more productive.
And more productive for the economy.
Ramatu, you have a story?
Yes, I have the story of the Shettima's trip that was cancelled. They said there was a damage to the plane of the Vice President Kashim Shettima during a stopover at JFK Airport in New York. It has forced his cancellation of the scheduled trip to the 2024 Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit in Samoa, Oceania. They said that there was a foreign object that struck the plane, damaging the cockpit's windscreen. But immediately, the president was able to approve one of the ministers, that's Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas Lawe, to represent Nigeria at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Apia, the Samoa capital. So that way, and then they said that Shettima and Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tukar have departed New York for Nigeria, while repairs on the damaged plane have started. So they're fixing the plane.
Okay, I have a story here. They said to end nomadic grazing. The Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, yesterday reaffirmed its commitment to establishing ranches for livestock headers. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, was the one who talked about the governor's position yesterday. He said they were at the stakeholders consultative workshop on livestock reforms in Nigeria at the State House in Abuja. And he emphasized the need for governors to make land available for the federal government's policy to succeed. According to him, he said historically, herdsmen have roamed the countryside for centuries, holding a deep-seated belief that land and water are divine, and so they should have access to it. So to address this, the NGF is now educating herders on the importance of obtaining certificates of occupancy. That's the C of O. So we understand that land is free and God has given land, but for you to be able to use a particular area, you need to have that C of O, and that's what they are working on. They are doing a lot as well. I think there's also a collaboration with a French institution that's going to be helping them to see how they can set up some of these ranches. He said that many of the headers said that they're not interested in the C of O certificate, but they are trying to make sure that they are able to get it. And they said, he said, herdsmen don't need to roam about again. We'll be issuing C of O to some of them who agree to settle now, so that there's a way we can preserve the ranching culture, and we can even make more out of, the animals that we're using, more businesses. And they talked about the contribution to the GDP. They said Nigerian livestock sector approximated to worth over 33 trillion in value, currently contributing between 7 to 9% to the country's gross domestic product. And despite the potential, Nigeria is spending about $1 to $2 million or $1 to $0.5 million annually on dairy imports. We're still importing a lot when we have some of these, cattle that can help us. So we just need to plan the business properly and see how we can milk it. Let's take the Punch now. Major headline. Presidency defends Tinubu as federal government slashes ministers' vehicles aids. Federal government differs as clerk, others allege lopsidedness. Tinubu seeks Senate confirmation. Senate okays 15% states funding for regional development commissions. Broken aircraft windscreen abort Shettima's Samoa trip. Naira devaluation pushes federal government states to debts to 134 trillion naira. Tropical storm leaves 24 dead in Philippines flooding. Military NEMA combs sea for crashed helicopter passengers. Police hunt gunmen as 9 killed in fresh Anambra attack. Pensioners threaten protest as federal government 4 states owe 193 billion naira. What stories do we have in the Punch?
Okay, so the president, of course, announced through his special advisor on information and strategy by Onanuga that there will be a new cost-cutting measure going forward. So now ministers are no longer allowed to have more than 3 cars in their convoy. The president himself has reduced his entourage on foreign trips from 50 to 20. He's reduced his local trips entourage to 25. He's reduced that of the vice president to 15 on foreign trips, and 5 officials on foreign trips and 15 on local trips. And he's also ordered ministers and ministers of state and that of heads of agencies to have not more than 5 security personnel attached to them and just 3 cars attached to them. He said no order will be added. And the security team will comprise 4 police officers and 1 SSS officer or DSS officer, and no additional security personnel will be assigned. He also directed that the NSA is to engage the military, paramilitary, and security agencies to determine suitable reduction in their own vehicle and security personnel deployment. These are all efforts to cut costs in governance. He was also criticized as having, of course, remember the reshuffle of his cabinet that happened recently. He has now upped the ministers under his cabinet. So Ogun State, under federal character, every state must have a minister on the cabinet. But now, with the new reshuffle, they have only Ogun State get 4.
Oh, wow.
Only Ogun State. So you expect
did they consider
criticism. I don't know. But according to this person who's speaking in support of him from the Senate, he says that, yes, federal character is a constitutional matter, but that's not the only matter that they should look at. He says that Senator Allwell, so the PDP River East, acknowledged that federal character is important, but said competence is also more important. And he said the issue of federal character is that every every of the state should have members on the
Representative.
cabinet, but we shall see.
We'll see how that goes.
The clerk also had something to say, but we can read the punch.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a breather here. When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.